This is Italian football lover channel, my friends. Today I want to make predictions. Match day 12 games of Serie A. You can subscribe to my channel, watch my videos, and please click on the like button. Thank you so much. Let's start from the Cagliari Genoa game. Last season, Cagliari Genoa game ended up in 1-1 draw. Cagliari is going to be at home. They got back-to-back defeats at home. They lost against 2-0. Bologna at home. They lost against 2-1 Sassuolo in last match at home. Cagliari lost against Lazio 2-0 in away game, my dear friends. And at the same time, this Genoa team is third to last on the point table. They got the first victory against Sassuolo by winning 2-1 in last away game. But before, Genoa lost against 2-1 Torino in away game. Genoa stayed draw against 2-2 Fiorentina in last match at home. This is going to be so challenging game. Cagliari is seeming a little bit closer to victory with home advantage, but I don't rely on both of the sides for victory. Because of that, draw is my prediction. Draw. Cagliari 1, Genoa 1. And second game, Udinese Bologna. Udinese is going to be at home. They won versus 1-0 Atalanta at home. They won against 3-2 Lecce at home, my dear friends. And Udinese team lost against Roma 2-0 in last away game. And Bologna got back-to-back victories in away games. They won versus 3-1 Parma in last away game. They won against 2-0 Cagliari in away game. Bologna won versus 2-0 Napoli in last match at home. They are on the 5th spot. Bologna is going on perfect this season. They got just one defeat, as I remember. Last season, Udinese-Bologna game ended up in 0-0 draw. My dear friends, this game may end up in draw. Draw is seeming possible in that match, this Udinese-Bologna game. But this Bologna team is crazy. I feel in that way. They will win over against Udinese. Udinese 1, Bologna 2 is my prediction for this game. Another match, Fiorentina-Juventus. Fiorentina is going to be at home. And this Fiorentina team is at the bottom of the point table. This is unbelievable for Fiorentina team. And Stefano Pioli gets sacked from Fiorentina team, my dear friends. And they stayed draw against 2-2 Genoa in last away game. Fiorentina stayed draw against 2-2 Bologna at home. They lost against 1-0 Lecce in last match at home. Juventus is on the 6th spot. And Spalletti is the new manager of Juventus. They won versus 2-1 Cremonese in last away game. They won against 3-1 Udinese at home. But Juventus remained draw against 0-0 Torino in last match at home before they lost against 2-0 Como in away game. Juventus got inconsistent results. This is going to be so challenging match. Last season, Fiorentina won versus Juventus 3-0 at home. My dear friends, this game may end up in draw. Draw is possible in that game, but I don't rely on this Fiorentina team anyway. Because of that, I want to take a chance to Juventus for victory. Fiorentina 1, Juventus 2 is my prediction for this game. Napoli, Atalanta. Atalanta won against Napoli 3-0 in away game last season, but Atalanta is going down and down. Ivan Juric should get sacked, should get dismissed from Atalanta team. This is my opinion. Really, Ivan Juric is inadequate manager, my dear friends. The Atalanta stayed draw against 0-0 Lazio at home. They remained draw against 1-1 Milan at home. Atalanta lost against 3-0 Sassuolo in last match at home. Again, they lost against 1-0 Udinese in last away game. They got back-to-back defeats, my dear friends. And Napoli is on the 4th spot. But nevertheless, they are playing for the title. They stayed draw against 0-0 Como at home before they won versus 3-1 Inter at home. But Napoli lost against 2-0 Bologna in last away game. This is going to be so challenging game. But Napoli will make the advantage of playing at home. They will win over against Atalanta. Napoli 1, Atalanta 0 is my prediction for this game. Another match, Verona-Parma. Verona is second to last on the point table. They are one of the two teams that couldn't get any victory this season in Serie. Thus far, they are in so poor situation. And this Verona team, my dear friends, lost against Como 3-1 in away game. They stayed draw against Lecce 0-0 in last away game. Verona got some draws at home. They stayed draw against Cagliari 2-2 at home, but they lost against 2-1 Inter in last match at home. Parma team is in so poor situation like Verona. Last Verona-Parma game ended up in 0-0 draw. Parma State draw against Genoa, 0-0 in away game, my dear friends. And this Parma team lost against 3-1 Bologna at home. They stayed draw against 2-2 Milan in last match at home. Again, so hard clash is awaiting us, my dear friends. Verona is seeming a little bit closer to victory at home. Maybe they may get the first victory of the season, but I don't rely on Verona so much, and at the same time Parma too. Because of that, draw is going to be my prediction. Draw. Verona 0, Parma 0. And Cremonese Roma. Off. Cremonese is going to be at home. Cremonese is in bad situation. They lost against 2-1 Juventus in last match at home. And Cremonese lost against 1-0 Pisa in last away game. Before Cremonese stayed draw against Atalanta and Udinese 1-1 draw at home. This Roma team is on the second spot. They got an amazing start to season under the management of experienced and wise manager Gianpiero Gasperini. He made the difference for Roma team this season. Roma won versus 2-0 Udinese at home. They won against 2-1 Parma at home. But Roma lost against 1-0 Milan in last away game before they won versus 1-0 Sassuolo in away game. Roma is stronger and better team than Cremonese, but so challenging game is awaiting us, my dear friends. Nevertheless and nonetheless, just by 1 goal margin, I want to take a chance to Roma for victory. Cremonese 1, Roma 2 is my prediction for this game. Lazio Lecce, off. Last season Lecce won against Lazio 1-0 in away game. Lazio lost against 2-0 Inter in last away game. Before Lazio won versus 1-0 Juventus at home. They won against 2-0 Cagliari at home, my dear friends. And Lecce won versus Fiorentina 1-0 in last away game. Before, Lecce won against Parma 1-0 in away game. Lecce stayed draw against Sassuolo and Verona 0-0 at home. Lecce is going on a little bit better, but still they are close to relegation zone. This is going to be so challenging game, but just by 1 goal margin with home advantage, I want to take a chance to Lazio for victory. Lazio 1, Lecce 0 is my prediction for this game. Inter Milan, off. This is a big clash. This is derby game. Last season Milan won versus Inter 2-1 in away game. My dear friends, 2-1. Last season Milan won against Inter 2-1 in Serie. And my dear friends, Inter got back-to-back victories at home. They won versus 3-0 Fiorentina at home. They won against 2-0 Lazio at home. They won versus 2-1 Verona in last away game. And Inter is at the top position. They have become to the top position in Serie, my dear friends. And at the same time, this Milan team is on the third spot. As I remember, they stayed draw against Parma 2-2 in away game. Milan won versus 1-0 Roma in last match at home. Before, Milan stayed draw against Atalanta 1-1 in away game. Milan got some draws in away games. My dear friends, this game may end up in draw. Draw is possible and probable in that match. Please don't forget that, because Milan is so dangerous and quality team this season. But I feel in that way, this Inter team is little bit better than Milan. This time, Inter will win over against Milan just by 1 goal margin. Inter 2, Milan 1 is my prediction for this game. Torino, Como, off. Como is so strong and quality team. And Torino will be at home, and Torino is so dangerous team. The Torino team stayed draw against 0-0 Juventus and Bologna in the recent 2 away games. Torino won versus 2-1 Genoa at home, my dear friends. But Torino stayed draw against Pisa 2-2 in last match at home. Como stayed draw against Parma and Napoli 0-0 draw in the recent 2 away games. Again, Como stayed draw against Cagliari 0-0 in last match at home. This is going to be so challenging game. Last season Torino won against Como 1-0 at home. This game may end up in draw. Draw is possible in that match. I see maybe if either of the sides win this game, Como is seeming a little bit closer to victory, but draw. My prediction is going to be draw, my dear friends. Torino 0, Como 0. And another game and last match of the week, Sassuolo Pisa. Sassuolo is going to be at home. Sassuolo lost against 2-1 Genoa at home. They lost against 1-0 Roma at home. Sassuolo won versus 2-1 Cagliari in away game. They won against 3-0 Atalanta in last away game. They got back-to-back victories in away games. Pisa team got so many draws. They are so close to relegation zone. They got the first victory against Cremonese by winning 1-0 in last match at home. They stayed draw against 0-0 Lazio at home. Pisa stayed draw against Milan and Torino 2-2 draw in the recent 2 away games. They got so many draws at home and in away games. That doesn't matter for Pisa team. My dear friends, again, draw is possible and probably in that match. But in the last game, as I remember, Sassuolo won against Pisa 1-0 at home. But, my dear friends, I want to take a chance to Sassuolo for victory. Sassuolo 2, Pisa 1 is my prediction for this game. All my predictions like this for matchday 12 games of Serie A. You can subscribe to my channel, watch my videos, and please click on the like button. That makes me so happy. See you on my next videos, my dear friends. Bye!